get rid of this note on my screen. Here I am again, doing a live. I did one yesterday, I'm doing one today. I'm starting to like these live things. They're kind of fun because it's a change of pace for me. I get to get things off my brain, off my mind, and talk to you about some things that either bother me or I feel you need to know about even further than what my channel has to offer. Anyway, I'm sitting outside under this nice little picnic area in front of our complex, and I wanted to share with you what happened this morning with my workout. And I was scheduled to have 2 training sessions early in the morning. I usually have these 2 guys I train Tuesday and Thursday mornings early. And when I say early, one guy was at 5 a.m. and the other was at like 6:15 or something. Then I usually go to the gym and I'll do another training session and then I'll do my workout, or I just go and do my workout. Then I have another 2 or 3 training sessions after that. Well, anyway, I woke up at 0400 today and I had 2 text messages come in within 5 minutes. One was the first client canceling, and the second was the second client canceling. And outside of my training, I have a ton of projects I'm working on right now that involve longevity, health, wellness. I'm doing programs for people, 4-week programs actually, that involve workouts, circuit workouts, cardio, fasting, all the specialties that I bring to the table. And one of them just came in the other day, and I'm like, okay, well, instead of just going back to sleep, which a lot of people do, and this is going to be part of my point today in this live, I went downstairs into my office and I got cracking on my projects. And what ended up happening, I accelerated my day by making the sacrifice of not going back to sleep and not hitting the snooze button and pushing forward and going into my work mode instead. And early in the morning, I don't know if this works for you all, but for me, my brain function is through the roof. I would say from the time I wake up until about 11 a.m., maybe even 12, my brain function is at its highest. And from the research I've done, that's when I believe it's the theta waves, or maybe it's the alpha waves in your brain are the highest, and that makes sense that your brain is going to be at its highest capacity then. So I got downstairs, I started cracking. Now here's where things got even more interesting. I put my weighted vest on, and I was standing at my stand-up desk, and I haven't been wearing it in a while. I used it to train for the Grand Canyon. If you saw my videos a few months ago, I was wearing it all the time, but I kind of put it aside and rested it for a while, and I saw it sitting there. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to throw my weighted vest on. Literally just standing with a weighted vest on and doing nothing else, if you're at your computer or if you're doing anything at all from a standing position, is a pretty doggone good workout. I noticed my heart rate was higher. I noticed my legs were working more, my core was working more, my abs were engaged, and you can voluntarily work your abs as you're standing up with a weighted vest on. And I loved all of that. But here's where it got interesting. After I was down there for about an hour, my appetite started going through the roof. It started spiking. So ghrelin was spiking through the roof. Ghrelin is your hunger stimulating hormone, and leptin is your hunger stabilizing hormone. Ghrelin shot off the charts for some reason, and I don't know why, and I didn't question it, and I don't care. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to be working out for another hour or so. I decided to do 2 solid hours of work, and I'm like, then I'm going to go do my workout. And by the time I was finished working, I was ravenous. And I know I've said this in videos 100 times. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to reiterate it. And this is all part of my Fasting for Fitness brand that I'm talking about here and the magic of fasting. I ended up going to the gym, and I was starving when I left. By the time I got to the gym, within 5 minutes of my workout, appetite was completely gone, and I destroyed my workout. I did 2 hours of high-intensity cardio. I started with 30 minutes of sprint intervals on this treadmill we have there called the Curve, which is a body weight treadmill, which I like because it's green. It doesn't pollute the environment as much as like burning so much electricity for no reason at all. And I don't mean to take a stand on that or do virtue signaling. I'm just being honest. Someone accused me of being virtue signaling once, and I was like, no, I'm just an earth-friendly guy, and that's anytime I can preserve the environment, even a little bit, I will do it. Even if it's picking up 1 piece of trash a day, which I always tell people to do. In fact, I think there's a trash can right behind me there. Anyway, I bulldozed the first part of my workout. I literally got on the treadmill and I started with a sprint. So that was about a minute long, and then I walked for 30 seconds, and then I sprinted again for a minute. And before I knew it, I did that for 30 minutes in a row. That's how I started my workout. Appetite was completely gone. My brain function was through the roof. My energy was soaring. Then I hopped on the stair machine, and I did 40 minutes straight on the stair machine with it on about, I would say, hey, I don't know who that is, but hello. Thanks for tuning in. I got on the stair machine. I did 40 minutes of what I would consider high-intensity stair machine workout. And when I use the stair machine, I actually have a video on here on the correct way to use it too. You should check that one out. I don't use the handrails. I get up on it with the handrails, and then I stand upright, and I make sure that I check my posture the whole time. I'm not hunching, I'm not rounding, I'm not leaning on the handles, I'm not leaning on the front. I might watch something on my phone because it passes the time by, sure, because we feel like gerbils when we're on these cardio machines, and they could be as boring as heck, and you don't want to do anything. But if you're watching something engaging, it can get you to the gym, and it can get you moving and working out. And I always tell people when they ask me that question, What do you think of people that are watching things on their phone or reading something when they're on a cardio machine? Oh, look at them, look at them. They profile these people and they judge them. I don't judge those people. I say, good for them. I'm glad they're here at the gym. I'm glad they're working out. I'm glad they're trying to benefit themselves and their bodies. In the big picture, if that's what it takes, then go and get there. But that's not the underlying message of this video today. I keep getting sidetracked. Remember, when you're watching my video, I'm like a Quentin Tarantino. I'm all over the place. The underlying message is I came in there starving. I started working out. My appetite was gone. My energy went through the roof. I crushed my workout. I did 30-minute sprint intervals on the curve treadmill. Then I did 40 minutes on the stair machine. And then I jumped on the elliptical and did I did an interval workout on there for about another 35 minutes or something like that. Cumulatively, I did about 2 hours of work, dominated my workout, crushed it, felt great when I was done. And guess what? I had zero appetite when I left. It wasn't until about 20 minutes later when I finally got home and settled in that my appetite started to come back up. The bottom line is this. If you work out in a fasted state, your body is going to work just fine. Hydration is the most important factor. Make sure to drink water, sip it, drink it, whatever. Don't chug it, don't guzzle it. Don't have a ton of water because it's going to feel like bowling balls in your stomach. Just make sure you're hydrated. That's the key thing when it comes to working out. And unless you're literally like 2% body fat, you can work out for 8 hours in a row on a fasted state. I promise you that. I've been doing this for years. I've been studying it for years, and I know it. And that's why I try to impart my information on other people that want to go down the same road. And that is how you, in my opinion, that's how you get lean muscle mass and you maintain it too. Because human growth hormone is high when you go into those workouts fasted, and that's what you want. You're in optimal fat burning mode. And then after a while, when you're done working out, ghrelin will start to creep back up, and then your appetite will come back, and then you could eat normally and be fine with your day. So I had a tremendous 2-hour workout after working for 2 hours early in the morning, fasted, and I could just feel completely refreshed when I was done. There were no mind issues. There was no like, oh, I'm scared, I'm worried, any of these things. I just went in there, I did it, I dominated it, I came out, and I feel better for it today. The bottom line and the message I'm trying to get across is don't fear working out in a fasted state. Don't fear hunger. Hunger is natural. Hunger is an emotion. You can control it. You can take deep breaths. You can sip water. You can eat sea salt. There's a ton of things you can do to stabilize your appetite. If you put some calorie-free electrolytes in your bottle and shake it up and sip those, that's totally fine as well. And that will actually help stabilize your appetite. Because sometimes we go to the gym in the morning early on Saturdays, and I'm kind of hungry going in there, and I whip up some electrolytes and I start sipping them. Appetite is completely gone. Crush my workout, rinse and repeat every single day, every single week. That is it. That's all I have to say for now. This is nice scenery behind me. I know, I see that. And I have a client I have to get to right now. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna take a shower. I'm gonna go over there, kick some butt. I'm gonna get her to kick some butt as well. And then I'm out. That's my message for today. If any of you wanna do I do burpees or Navy SEALs? I think burpees are a great exercise. I was doing those when I was 5 years old. My dad was in the Army, and he taught me how to do burpees correctly. And he taught me the difference between a burpee and a squat thrust, and there is a difference. I hardly ever do dedicated burpees in workouts. I do way more squat thrusts, but I don't do just a conventional squat thrust usually. I do different variations of those that I've created, like a one-hand squat thrust, or a combination where I do one hand, then the other hand, then 2 hands, 1 foot, 2 hands, the other foot, or I add implements like dumbbells and kettlebells and things like that. But burpees and squat thrusts, absolutely great exercises. I would highly suggest them especially if you're pressed for time, especially if you're traveling, if you're in a hotel and you need to get a good sweat on and you want to try to incorporate as many muscle groups as you can. I think burpees are fantastic. So yeah, totally down with it. And maybe I'll shoot another video on some of my variations coming up soon on the burpees and the squat thrusts. But for right now, I got a boogie. I'll see you all later. If any of you want to do some coaching, or you want to do some training, or you want me to build a program for you like I did for my friend Jordan, hit me up. And make sure to always see yourself in possession of that which you want. Think positive thoughts, surround yourself with positive people, and please do pick up one piece of trash a day. I'm going to virtue signal again, if that's what you want to call it. I just call it talking about things you feel passionate about. Until next time, this is Kevin Dave Red reporting live, literally live,